Scientists discover a new frog and immediately name it after Ozzy Osbourne. We'll also introduce you to the Ozzy who's pushing to get Ozzy knighted by the Queen.
I am so for that.
You're listening to Geeks and Beats on iTunes, Stitcher, and the Bell Media Radio Network.
You know you've made it when the science community names an animal after you.
The rule of scientific nomenclature says that if you discover a new species, you get to name it. Just make sure that you follow the appropriate Latin procedures. And a guy named Pedro Peloso, he's a postdoctoral fellow at a university in Brazil. He was tramping through the Amazon rainforest where there were a lot of undiscovered things, and he and his colleagues found a little frog, it's about 3/4 of an inch long, who has an overly large vocal sac that makes him pretty loud for his size.
Shannon! Where's the remote?
And he's the only frog in existence that makes a sound like a bat.
Yes!
Which explains why he named him after Ozzy Osbourne.
That's right. He was not only an Ozzy and Sabbath fan, he also remembered the time when Ozzy bit the head off a bat in 1982.
Evidently threw an unconscious bat on the stage, and he thought it was a rubber bat, whatever, and he picked it up and bit the head off.
And Shannon's going, "Dummy, it's real." I'm going, what?
So when the little frog was in the lab, and he was making its bat sounds, they refer to it as the bat frog, and that led to thinking of Ozzy. So they ended up naming this thing Dentroposophus ozzii. So way to go, Ozzy! You got a little tiny frog, the length of your fingernail, your thumb's fingernail, named after you. Way to go,
Dendrocyphus ozzii.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, they're trying to get Ozzy knighted.
Knighthoods have become fairly cheap after Mick Jagger got his.
The quality just went downhill after that. Joining us now, leading the charge to get Ozzy Osbourne knighted, is Australia's Helen Matiotis. Helen, good to have you with us.
Hi, how are you?
Where have we reached you?
Sydney, Australia.
Let me ask you this. Why knight Ozzy Osbourne?
He's the face of Sabbath. He's the pioneer of metal. He's been with us in the music business for over 40 years. He's a global icon now, especially with the award that he's just received. He's done so much for the music industry. He created Ozfest and launched the careers of many successful bands we have today.
And much like the Queen, both of them have bitten heads off doves.
You know, we have to be careful here. Let's be serious for a moment. Prince Harry is a massive metalhead. There was the story about when he did the trek across Antarctica, that he loaded his phone or his iPod with all kinds of really intense metal. So he, you know, if he does ever ascend to the throne, he will be the most metal king ever.
That's right.
Well, he's going to have to off a few people to make that happen, very Games of Thrones-esque. But having said that, how far along are you in this process? You've got quite a bit of support.
Sent me a letter from the cabinet saying that they now have all the forms and whatever else I sent over, including the 21,000 plus signatures I had gathered. And they said that they will carefully look into this request of mine. So fingers crossed.
All right, can we just back up a little bit? What did you have to do? How does one go about nominating a person for a knighthood?
Well, all I did was I filled out the forms for his nomination. I was supposed to get like at least 2 letters of support from people that know of him, know of his work, that are like close friends of his, I suppose. That was a major struggle for me. I had a lot of trouble trying to get a lot of the guys that know Ozzy to write a letter for his for the support of the nomination.
Well, why was that? Because you couldn't find them, or was it because they didn't think he needed it?
Well, I had contacted a few, like Elton John, Brian May, Metallica, and I usually got a response like, "Oh, they're too busy," or like they couldn't help me. Sometimes I didn't get any response. I got Bernie Tormé first off, who is the guy that took over after Randy died for a short stint. And people seem to forget that he did that, which is quite awesome for somebody in his position to do that. But he doesn't get a lot of recognition for that.
Just for people who don't know, that's one of Ozzy's guitarists.
Yeah. He filled in for that short stint, and then Sammy Hagar took over, and then after that, the next person was Martin Popov, who is a rock journalist, critic. He's written a few books and stuff, and yeah, he was able to write the other letter.
I know Martin very well. Martin's a Canadian. I've done work with Martin.
Yeah.
So how long until we actually find out what's going on here and whether or not he actually gets the nod?
Hopefully mid next year we should start finding out stuff. I'm not really sure when it's going to happen because it's a long process. Speaking of the support letters, I also had a major breakthrough with Zach Wilde. He actually got off stage literally and just made time for us, and he did the letter. And I'm really grateful to him and to Bernie and Martin and to the other two guys that wrote the letter, two friends of mine. They were all great. And the more letters I can still support, send support letters over to them. Because I said that you can get up to 10 letters.
So how do we support your cause?
Now that the causes signatures have been sent, I've also started a new one, iPetitions.com, Knight Ozzy Osbourne now. If you go to that and just sign that, because that is especially made for those who missed out on signing the original causes. So if anyone out there knows about this petition, and if they could just sign it, they'd be awesome. The ones that didn't get a chance to sign it originally. So that I could gather up those signatures. I've got about 50 signatures about there to send off, like even more if I can, along with other things that he's been doing, like articles where it shows that he's received the Global Icon Award and various other awards that he's received recently, and with his successful 2 weeks in a row chart-topping success of the Memoirs of a Madman. If I could get all those articles gathered up as well in support of the nomination, along with the extra signatures that I get, hopefully from my petitions, that's also a plus, because they still don't mind me sending more stuff over to them. So that's pretty good.
I want to see this happen. I really want to see this happen. We'll do what we can to help you get more support.
Thank you so much for your time, Helen. All the best.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
This would be very cool. I would like to see whoever it is, whether it's the Queen, whether it's Prince Charles, whether it's Prince Harry, to just lay that sword on either shoulder. I hereby declare you Sir Ozzy,
a knight of the round table.
Imagine all the old guys, the old peerages and the guys who have descended from nobility from 1054, watching their heads explode. It would be fantastic.
You're listening to Geeks and Beats on iTunes, Stitcher, and the Bell Media Radio Network.